want to thank Judy. Judy's here now. She saved me yesterday because I called her up. Even though her husband's a doctor and she's a nurse, I called her up and said, I need a doctor, but I need a flower doctor. So yesterday, from about noon, I picked the flowers up at 9:30 last night. Judy made them look like something that wasn't just so beautiful. So thank you very much, Judy.
Anytime somebody wants.
Thank you, Judy. Doug over here is actually a friend of ours. He is not a professional photographer. He's a physician.
Total amateur.
Last week I said to Doug, you know, we need pictures. This morning I called him and said, Doug, I really want you to take pictures. So, absolutely. Yes. So I'm going to thank Doug for taking pictures.
Thank you, Doug.
Okay, so a month or so ago I sent a story to a friend who's an author. She sent me back a version of it as a fairy tale. Steve and I took it, and so we have written a fairy tale called Fairy Tales Can Come True. Once upon a time in a faraway land there existed a magical kingdom called Louisville, Kentucky, where lived a lovely young maiden named Sheila Chandler. She grew womanhood, lilted body, and blessed with alabaster skin and lovely blonde hair.
Always the alabaster skin.
Feeling the pull of destiny, Sheila went to work and school at the palace called University of Louisville. In 1975, an aspiring young knight named Steve Saltzberg came to the palace, and 2 years later they were going out together. And they knew they were part of something magical, a young couple in love. Well, at least one of them was really young. Way to go, Jack!
She was legal, though.
The first day he took me on was to a bar, and I looked at him and I said, you know, I'm not old enough to order a drink. They formed friendships to aid in their quest for some unknown destiny awaiting them. After all, destiny is the stuff of fairy tales. At the palace, Steve became friends with Fred, a knight in his own right. Thus, Fred and his lovely young wife, Lori, and Steve and Sheila began their quest for destiny together. By the spring of 1982, the friendship between the couples was a bond that grew even closer and stronger when Fred and Lori became the proud parents of Prince David. Steve and Sheila attended David's bris, surely a prince in the making, but a handsome baby boy and a fine prince he would make. During the fall of 1982, the handsome Prince Steve and the fair young maiden married. Fred and Lori were there to share in their happiness, so they were at our wedding. Henceforth, the Chambergs in fairyland. Days after the wedding, the Chambergs moved to Fresno, California for a new adventure in the land of nuts and honey. Fresno was the almond capital of California. Steve and Sheila's son Jordan was born in 1984, but sadly Fred and Lori were not on hand for his bris. They were still in the faraway land of Kentucky Kingdom. 2 years later, handsome Steve and fair maiden Sheila gave Jordan a baby sister, Princess Lindsay. Oh, the years are many, the years are long, the dear friends lost touch. The Chambergs didn't know that the Geiger clan left the bluegrass land and moved to the Kingdom of North Carolina. In the magic year of 1990, the Chambergs left California and moved to Richmond, Virginia. In the same magic year, the Geigers, Lori, Fred, Beth, and David, moved to Richmond, just 5 blocks from the Chambergs' castle. Because Prince David was 2 years older than Prince Jordan and 4 years older than Princess Lindsay, their paths never crossed. On Sheila's morning walks in the far western kingdom, she often passed the Geiger castle. Did destiny keep them apart? And then in 1995, 12 years after the friends had last seen each other, destiny began moving on little dragon feet. Steve was feasting on the delicacy of a bagel. And Lori was having lunch with a friend, and she heard a voice above the bagel feast.
It's all about bagels, you know.
king knight, Saltzberg. So the connection was once again made. Destiny. We're getting close to the end. Not just couples, but families now. The Chambergs were invited to Prince David's bar mitzvah. Prince David, 13, and Princess Lindsay, 9, met for the first time. Now, I don't know that all this is accurate, by the way, but it's a good story.
It makes a good story.
So far it's okay. Lindsay was enamored of the bar mitzvah prince, who was polite and asked her to dance, her first magic carpet ride. Never shy, Princess Lindsay sang karaoke to Wild Thing, I Think I Love You, in a very deep voice. Demonstration. I don't know the words.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, yeah.
These were planted that night in the hearts of the two sets of parents. Steve and Sheila listened to the tape of Lindsay's song until it finally broke from overuse. For years, there was a picture on the Geiger's icebox of Prince David and Princess Lindsay dancing. 4 parents had a dream. What if their children were to end up together? But again, that was stuff of fairy tales. Lori would ask Fred, this is a little made up, why can't David meet a nice Jewish princess? That's true.
And Sophie, too.
While Princess Lindsay was in college, Sheila and Lori conspired to arrange a lunch in Richmond to get Lindsay and David together. David was too busy and Lindsay had other plans. Oh well, but Destiny's little dragon feet had begun to creak once more. The mothers conspired again in 2008 after Lindsay graduated from college and took a job in Maryland, Rockville. Both the prince and princess now lived in the kingdom of Washington, D.C. When Sheila and Lori met on Rosh Hashanah, they realized their children were almost neighbors, both unattached. They smiled. The matchmakers, the anticipated once again. Destiny began licking those little dragon feet again, its work near completion. As soon as Lori returned home from services, she called Prince David and just happened to mention that young and beautiful Princess Lindsay lived nearby. and was new to the area and could probably use a friend. A knight in shining armor. David rather doubted party Princess Lindsay would be lonely. However, when David found lovely images of Princess Lindsay in the fairy tale land of Facebook, a week later, the day before Yom Kippur, October 8, 2008 to be exact, the prince tells his mother that he has met up with Lindsay and they had a great time. In the meantime, Princess Lindsay confides to her mother that she met with Prince David and they've had a wonderful evening. Lindsay and David had their first real date on October 16th. Destiny's little dragon feet are at rest. They have been together ever since. Princess David and Princess Lindsay were wed on March 3rd, 2012. Someday the pitter-patter of little dragon feet will be replaced by... Oh, wait a minute! Fairy tale. Anyway, Lindsay and David are happily ever after.